Good boy. Good boy. All right. You ready? Ready? Come on. Come on. Hey, come on. Come on, boy. Come on. Oh, someone's tired. Oh, here he comes.
September 7th, 2019. That was day 2. And it was last Saturday. And I think the best way to go about this is to just kind of run through my schedule and just kind of bullet. One sec. Hey Siri. Text mom.
What do you want to say?
Yes.
Your message to mom says yes. Ready to send it?
Yes. What was I talking about? Yeah, so the best way I think I want to do this is to just kind of go down things chronologically, starting on that Saturday morning. I woke up at about 7 a.m. I got all of the typical chores and things that I want to get done that I would normally do on a typical Saturday. Go to the gym, clean the apartment, do a little cooking, make breakfast, all that kind of stuff. And I would say that took me to about 11 a.m. or so. And then, as soon as I was done all that, I immediately started on things that would progress the cabin. And the number one thing I wanted to do on Saturday was to meet my neighbors. Because, A, you always want to build bridges, especially with those physically close to your building location. And B, you never know. They might have some way that they can help you, or they might have something down the road, a piece of equipment, or I don't know, anything. It's just always good to have a strong relationship from the get-go with your neighbors. Say that I went to my property on Saturday and I just started cutting down trees left and right, didn't introduce myself, didn't tell them that I bought the land between them, didn't do any kind of preliminary steps like that. It could kind of create a little awkward tension between you and your neighbors. So you always want to start building that bridge and that trust as soon as possible. So before I made any noise, any ruckus on my property, I went over to my neighbors and I gave them 2 things. First thing is I baked them some cookies because I feel like that's a neighborly thing to do. And secondly, I gave them a letter. And I'm not much of a baker, I'll say that now. What I did was I literally went to the Walmart. I bought some Toll House cookie dough sheets, like the little squares that are cut up, and I literally just tossed them in the oven. And I feel like that was good enough. It's the gesture really that matters, right? Right? Alright, first thing you want to do, get your pan. I don't know in a pan. Hang on. The hell are all the pans at? Do I not own pans? Alright. I found a cast iron pan with my camping gear. I'm going to say that's going to do. So you lay your tinfoil in as such. That's good. Then you read the back of this. Preheat oven to 350. Bada bing, bada boom. Baked in 9 to 10 minutes. Okay, that's not that bad. Alright. Cool. Dun, 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 dun. Making myself some gabagool. Hope it turns out okay. I'm not really good at cooking, as you can probably tell. Alright. I feel like that's probably good enough. I'm gonna say we waited long enough. I really hope these plates don't explode. I'm a master chef. You can probably tell I'm really good at cooking. Timer. Said about 10 minutes, so we'll do 10 minutes. So while the cookies are baking, I'm going to be writing up the notes. I'll summarize it basically as, hey, I'm using a chainsaw, here's some cookies. Obviously there's going to be like a couple other words in there, but you know, that's the gist of it. Hi neighbor, my name is Ed, and I purchased a 45-acre lot next to your property. I wanted to formally introduce myself and let you know that if there's anything you need from me, feel free to stop by if I'm around or call. I am planning on building a log cabin and want to let you know that I will happily tone down the noise if it gets to be too much. Let me know if you ever need anything, Ed. I doubt that the noise from the chainsaw, any future impact guns that I use to drive rebar down, or any other operations will actually really get to them, but it's always better to be civil in these matters, because if you burn bridges with your neighbors early on, it's just going to make your life a living hell. Anyway, before I do the other note, the cookies are done, so let's check on that. I'm excited. Hopefully they aren't mutants. Oh my god, it looks like shit. Alright guys, not too bad. Some of them came out burnt. Some of them came out really gooey. But you know, I kinda mixed them all up, so you know, there's some burnt, some gooey, some that are actually okay to eat. I don't know if you can see through the plastic wrap, but I did cut them into polygons. Got my cookies, got my letters. I'm gonna stop at the envelope store and pick up some envelopes. Other than that, I think we are good to go to the land and actually start cutting. Around 2 o'clock or so, I met my first neighbor. If you're looking directly at the property, I met the neighbor on the left. And he had a residential structure, just a simple one-story rancher house. Heavily wooded property. Gorgeous setback, far away from the road, great driveway, and he gave me a cell. I gave him my cell phone number. Shook hands, petted his dog for a little bit, parted ways. He's a really nice dude. The second neighbor, first off, equally as nice. He owns a piece of property that goes right next to mine. Then there's a river. There's an abandoned house on about an acre or so. And then right next to that is my right-hand neighbor. And the cool thing about him is he owns a winery. Beautiful setting. Amazing lakes on the property itself. He has a smaller one and he has a massive one out the back. And both of these lakes were breathtaking. The whole property, honestly, was breathtaking. And again, I shook the guy's hand. I said, hey, my name's Ed. Cookies, letter. Nicest dude ever. We chatted for a little while. Caught up on things. He told me about the area. He told me about local things that are around and everything like that. And I gotta say, both my neighbors are fantastic. Now, I technically do have a third neighbor. So if you go down the main road, my property is right here. I have my left neighbor, then I have my right neighbor, and then I have a neighbor in front of me. However, that is all farmland and agricultural, so I don't know who owned that plot of land. It was huge. It was probably a couple tens of acres that he owned. I have to meet him at some point. Anyway, this video has run about 10 minutes so far, and for what I've seen from watching other YouTube channels, 10 minutes is typically the mark that they strive for. I'm guessing people start checking out if you make your videos longer than that. So I'm going to stick with that formula for now until I learn a little bit more about how to make videos, how to kind of touch up on things here and there. And I really want to talk about cutting down the first tree on the property and doing some small shrub work as well. But I will talk all about that in the next video. Day 2, part 2.